Hello, everyone, and welcome to Metro TV. I'm your host, Andy Hoig, CEO, publisher of Metro Magazine. We have a great show for you today. We'll be talking to Share Omaha about Giving Tuesday. We'll also be talking to QLI and the Schooler Foundation, as well as Salvation Army with the upcoming Tree of Lights. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. I'm here with Blake Hogeveen, Development with Quality Living, Inc., QLI,
Yes.
and Kim Daniels, Community Relations Manager with the Schooler Company. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you. Pleased to be here.
We're excited.
So one of the reasons we have, you're here, because you're both doing amazing things, but we did an article in the October issue of Metro Magazine about the Mona Faith Kitchen, and that was a pretty big deal.
It was a very big deal.
So
Really big deal.
let's talk a little bit. I just want to dive in. Let's just talk about that and how that all came to be. And who is Mona? I mean, who is this amazing woman?
Well, do you want to talk a little bit about who QLI is, and I'll dive in on Mona.
Absolutely. So just very quickly, QLI helps
Yes.
individuals who have suffered a devastating brain injury or spinal cord injury get back to life.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing place and work really hard to help people get back to life.
Mona Faith was a dynamic woman in her own right, but she was also a wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a committed friend, and a huge community advocate. And she became involved at QLI as a charter board member, along with one of her very dear friends, Danny Colliday, who was married to the late Marty Colliday, who was a lieutenant general at the Air Force. And together they were an unstoppable force.
Yeah. And I mean, going back to QLI, I mean, not wanting to skip over that, because I mean, how long has QLI been around?
So QLI got its start in the late 1980s.
Okay, yeah. And I remember, speaking of Danny, I mean, I remember going to events, I've kind of been in this since the late 80s,
Right.
early 90s, and meeting her and just seeing the campus just kind of expand and explode, really, and helping so many people, again, with traumatic brain injuries. So let's go back and just talk a little bit more about QLI.
Certainly. You had mentioned Mona Faith, obviously, who we had a chance to honor. My father was the first employee of QLI.
Was he really?
So I had a chance to
Yeah.
grow up with the company.
Okay.
Danny was like a grandmother to me, and I never got to meet Mona, but I heard my dad talk about the impact that she had on QLI. So it was really fitting. QLI wouldn't be the organization it is today without what she did to help the company. So getting to work with Kim, the team at Schooler, to do something really impactful for QLI, but to also honor somebody that helped make QLI what it is today, really special.
Yeah. So let's talk about the kitchen. Why is this kitchen important? I mean, what does it bring, and what does it provide, and how does it serve?
Want me to take that one?
Sure.
So the kitchen is just the natural gathering spot. It's kind of the heart of the campus, like it is at the heart of your home. And when Mona Faith passed away a little over a year ago, the trustees of our foundation really wanted to do something meaningful that would honor her legacy. And investing in QLI was just a natural, because that's where her heart was. And the kitchen itself was really in need of some more than just cosmetic work. It needed a complete makeover. And because the kitchen was a gathering spot for people to do normal things in life when they were in a very abnormal situation, to just help them find some peace, to gather with family, to celebrate birthdays and dinners and things that we all want to participate in.
Yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about the foundation too, because I mean, this is
Sure.
do you call this a collaboration, or what is a partnership, or talk to me about how you guys have joined forces and why this is all happening.
Well, so the bigger picture, the Schooler Foundation is funded by profits from the Schooler Company, and every year we have a set amount of money that we are committed to invest back in our local communities where all of our employees live and work. and we have just over 1,000 employees worldwide. Majority of those are in the United States, but we truly believe that investing in the things that our employees are dedicated to is where we want to also put our money. So again, it was just a natural fit to direct this pool of money to QLI to create this kitchen.
Yeah, and you had a ribbon cutting, kind of this grand opening. Was it in June?
Yes.
That this happened?
Yes.
And then the families and everybody got together just to celebrate, and people are now actively using the kitchen. And what are some other things that it brings to the table? I mean, so to speak. I mean, with the kitchen.
Absolutely. Well, just as Kim and I had a chance to talk about some of the projects QLI could benefit from, family was so important to Mona.
Yeah.
So that really just appealed to the foundation, the trustees, and to have Mona's family there at the ribbon cutting, her husband Marshall to cut the ribbon. To your question, it is used all the time, and that kitchen pulls families together. It pulls different residents together that QLI is serving, and it just helps individuals form relationships which are really at the core of helping people be successful long term.
Yeah.
As a kitchen is kind of a gathering spot in our homes, that happens at QLI as well. You have great food, and of course people show up and they want to be there to join.
What are other ways that people can help or connect with or contribute back to QLI?
So there are a number of ways. Probably the easiest way, we have a few incredible events. One is an evening at the fair.
One of my favorites.
An amazing
One of my
charitable
favorites,
event.
yes.
For golfers, we have an annual golf event. And then we're always just trying to raise money to help people get back to life in different ways. We call that our Life Path Services program, which gets people back to their passions.
And an evening at the fair, it's every other year, right? So this was the off year, and then next year it's typically in September.
It is, yep.
And it's like this grand, amazing event that I encourage everybody to kind of be in the know about it when it comes up. It's so much fun.
It's a blast. I think I'm biased, but I think it's one of the best
my
charitable
gosh,
events
it
in the
is.
city, and I would encourage you to look at an evening at the fair online.
Yes.
Amazing pictures, and
Yeah.
people are sure to have a great experience.
Yeah. So how can people find out more information about what your organization does?
So our website is a great spot, www.qliomaha.com.
Facebook?
Facebook as well. We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
All
Okay.
the social media, Twitter,
Yeah.
Instagram.
Which is a great place to just kind of keep up to date. Again, we
Absolutely.
did have the story, the ribbon cutting, an article in the October issue of Metro Magazine, and you guys are also in our annual giving guide that comes out in January. So we love working with you on that as well. So anything that I'm missing before we?
We're honored to
Yeah.
be here. We're honored
Yeah.
to, bring the spotlight to QLI and to Mona Faith and Marshall Faith, the Schooler Foundation, for all the wonderful things they do in our communities.
Yeah, and I just want to, I want to thank you, Kim, for everything that you do, and the Schooler Foundation, and Blake. Just thank you for everything that QLI does and your involvement in that organization. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy. And I would just say thank you to
Yeah.
Kim, Schooler.
Yeah.
Omaha is fortunate to have Schooler in the
Yeah.
community with the impact that they make on so many different
Yeah,
organizations.
absolutely.
And thanks to everything that you guys do as well.
Yeah, very much.
Well, thank you. So it's great to see you both, and we will be right back. Well, I'm here with Major Greg Thompson, from Divisional Commander from the Salvation Army. Should I call you Major, or should I call you Greg, or
You
should I
can
call
call
you?
me either. I've been called much worse, so you can call me either one of those.
Well, Major Greg, you know, it's this time of year. It's
Yes.
the holiday season.
Yes.
You just had your kickoff, the Tree of Lights kickoff, not too long ago.
Yes.
And
Like that beautiful tree at 90th
know.
and Dodge. It's so wonderful, isn't it?
it is wonderful. And how long have we been at 90th and Dodge?
I believe it's been almost 20 years.
Has it? Okay, because I
Yeah.
remember when it was like
Way down at Crossroads.
at Crossroads.
Yep. Yeah.
But American National
You know,
Bank.
they're such great partners. They
Yeah.
donate the space. They provide the electricity. They keep the whole thing lit throughout the entire
Yeah.
season. They're wonderful.
Yeah, and also want to mention we just were talking before we rolled here on camera
Yeah.
about Travis from Bright Ideas, who
Yes.
actually
Travis designed the entire tree. In
Yeah.
fact, and 3 years ago, we were using the old style lights, and we had such an ice storm, and they were out there fixing lights every year. And we're like, Travis, what do we need to do? He said, well, you really need to go to the LED lights. So we refitted
Yeah.
the entire tree, and that's why it's much brighter now and just more vibrant.
Yeah. Well, what is the Tree of Light? Just what is the Tree of Lights campaign? It's not just lighting a tree. I mean,
Clearly, yeah.
There's more to
Right,
it. So
right,
what is
right.
it?
The reality, it's our largest fundraiser throughout the year. We hope to raise $3 million in this short amount of time from November 8th to December 29th. And so that comes through not just the red kettles that you see, but it comes through corporate donations and different fundraising things that we do throughout the season in order to raise that amount of money. But that's really what the tree represents, that now's the time to think about the Salvation Army. But
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to remember that while this becomes a very visible moment for us in the Salvation Army, we're here the whole year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the money that people raise for us helps us help transform people's lives throughout the entire year.
Yeah, and talk about that a little bit. How do you transform people's
Right.
lives?
Well, that's I like to tell people we go cradle to grave. So
Yeah.
we have a wonderful Head Start program that we do. We have a marvelous housing structure. We do some apartments that we put people in. We run those apartments.
Mm-hmm.
We have a veterans apartment building that we put veterans with mental health issues in, and we try to help them through that and get them on to the next phase of their lives. We have senior citizens housing. We have counseling services that go along with our mental health. We help with human trafficking as well. We try to get victims out of human trafficking. And not only that, but we have recreation centers throughout the metro area that we will help with whole families and getting the things. So we try to get people to into the spot where they need the most help. Do you need food? Do you need medical assistance? What do you need, and how can we help you? And we do our best to do that. And that really helps us take people who are sometimes at the most desperate points in their lives and give them that hand up and get them to the next level so they can continue to be productive citizens.
And a lot of times when I talk to, just going back to the Tree of Lights, when I talk to people, families, one of the ways that they've gotten their kids involved is to ring bells.
Yes. A funny thing you said, because I was just talking to someone today, that I don't think people understand that ringing bells is really a moment for them to give much more than they probably would if they were just giving $1 or $2 in the kettle. If you stand there for 2 hours, you could literally be giving us $200 at that point. And that's free money because you stood there and volunteered to do that, where you would not be able to necessarily give that much money yourself personally. So I think there's that investment, and then that $200, then we can take that and help a variety of people in a variety of different ways that normally you would not be able to do it out of your own pocket. So, so we do encourage people to do that. I think you go to ringbells.org and then you can sign up to do that. So
I have rang bells in the past,
Have you?
and it's been fun. And I also, from a person that does put money in the kettle, I kind of, just for me personally, I have like this little pool of money, because whenever I walk by a kettle, I want to put money in it. So I don't want to
leave the Salvation Army, I gotta have $1 all the time.
I mean,
so
I just need to have that. So I mean, I'll end up, I don't know how much money I'll give over but I always want to do that. And it's also so much fun when people or kids, if they're singing or if they've got, if they're doing kind of fun things, because it's.
Go ahead, but if you want to help us the most, bring a kid along.
Yeah.
That'll be people give money to the kids.
Yeah, and I've had people playing saxophones or people dancing. So it's just or whatever.
Just having a fun time out there.
It is because it's all about the spirit of the holidays. I just feel like it's contagious. And then it does spread into the rest of the year.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
And we're doing so. You're gonna take me there now?
I'm gonna take you there now.
Okay.
So let's talk about Kettle Pay.
Kettle Pay.
What is that?
So something very new we're doing. We have for several years realized that a lot of people are not carrying cash. I have millennial children who never have.
Right.
They don't even have 10 cents on them. So because they do everything with a card or with
Right.
or with their phones now.
Yeah.
With Apple Pay and Google Pay, and we are now at a point where we're able to accept Apple Pay and Google Pay at a kettle. And you do that much like you would if you were going to McDonald's. You know, it says Apple Pay, and they've got the little machine, and you put
Yep.
your phone on there, and it takes the money. It's the same thing. We'll have a near field communication point on every kettle stand, and you'll be able to tap your phone to that and then give at that point.
I'm going to try that out.
Yeah, and if you don't, that's on the newer phones.
Okay.
So if you have an older phone, we will have a QR code on there that you could go to a
Okay.
website and give there as well.
Okay,
So.
but every kettle in the community
Every
will
kettle
have that.
in the Omaha communities,
Okay,
yes.
we'll have that opportunity to do that.
And Council Bluffs, Omaha and Council
Yep.
Bluffs, yeah.
Okay. How can people find out more about just the Salvation Army in general?
Well,
Website?
yeah, we have 2 websites. One, it depends on what you want to do, really. We have one, Sal Army Omaha, which is salarmyomaha.org,
Okay.
which is our basic website. That's
Right.
where you go to hear about our services. You can donate there, everything. If you want to do something that's very specific in donations, we're also doing a redkettlegive.org this year.
Okay.
And so we have 2 sites, so Sal Army Omaha if you want to know everything and donate, or Red Kettle Give if you want to donate specifically to the Red Kettles.
Okay. And then again, when you're driving down Dodge Street, 90th and Dodge, that beautiful tree.
Yes. I hope everyone enjoys it as much as I do when I drive by. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, there's that beautiful tree.
Yeah, right on the property of American National
Right.
Bank on that
Yep.
corner. And like you said, they're such great supporters and
They
do
are.
so much.
They are.
Anything we're missing with this conversation?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just probably to reiterate that people don't misunderstand that if we're out there at Christmas because it's one of our biggest fundraiser moments.
Yeah.
But that money helps us throughout the year to help people's
Yeah,
lives.
yeah.
So,
And again, you do so much good in the community. So
thank you.
thank you for joining me today.
No problem. It's good to be here.
Yeah, and happy holidays.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we will be right back. Well, I'm here with Marjorie Moss. She is the Executive Director of Share Omaha. Marjorie, thanks so much for joining me.
I love being here. Thank you for having me.
I know. Well, you're welcome. So let's first talk about Share Omaha. What is Share Omaha?
Share Omaha is a conduit between nonprofits posting their needs for the community and the community responding to those, whether that be cash, volunteerism, shopping for wish list items, or going to events for nonprofits.
Yeah. And you're coming up soon on a 1-year anniversary
We launched
in January.
January 17th was our launch this year. So,
Yeah.
so we're closing the year with a bang as well.
Yeah. And how many nonprofits do you have in your kind of pool where people can, research and get to know nonprofits?
By the time, I think we're at 390 organizations.
Okay. And I think your
So-
goal was like
400.
400.
Yeah,
So
we'll get there by the end of the year.
yeah, that's so amazing. So here's the exciting thing. So exciting news, we've been working together this year, but the exciting news that you just launched not too long ago is about Giving Tuesday.
Yes.
And the Giving Tuesday is something it's the first Tuesday of December, right?
It's actually the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. So sometimes it's like the 28th of November,
Okay,
but
okay.
this year it's December 3rd.
Okay, so it's a Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and that it's been around for a while.
Since 2012, I think, is when the movement began
Okay.
in New York.
Okay, so I know in past years Giving Tuesday, But this year, how is Share Omaha? I mean, what is Share Omaha's involvement in this movement?
Well, Share Omaha is really bringing that international movement local here in
Okay.
Omaha, powered by Share Omaha. It's a do-good takeover. So
Okay.
we're empowering the public to get involved and to volunteer, donate, support, and surprise others with kindness.
Okay. And how do people do that?
How do they do it? Well, I'm glad you asked, Andy. So they can go to givingtuesday402.org or 712.org.
Okay.
And those two websites will list all the ways that you can get involved and ways that you can activate yourself, your family, your business, or become one of our do-gooders in the Legion of Do-Gooders that are going to be across the city and across the metro
Yeah.
area.
And so by going to the website, so you can do that. Is it live now? I mean, can people?
It's live now.
Okay.
So people can go and they can plan what they're going to do with their family or themselves or their business prior to Giving Tuesday. And then on that day, there's so many, the city's going to feel brighter that day.
And are you working? I mean, I know like with the community foundations in these communities.
Thank you for asking. Yes, this wouldn't be happening without a team of collaborators. So we are working with Access Bank, the presenting sponsor of Giving Tuesday 402,
Okay.
TS Bank, presenting sponsor of Giving Tuesday 712, and then Omaha Community Foundation, Pottawatomie County Community Foundation, and then 24 Hours of Impact presented by Lutheran Family Services.
Well, and talk about that. I mean, talk about that. I saw that. And what does that mean?
So all the volunteerism that's happening that day will be captured by that 24 Hours of Impact. That event has happened in the past in Omaha,
Okay.
but this is an opportunity. They didn't want the year to close without it happening, and so we're excited that they said, well, let's bring these forces together and do even more good on one day.
Okay. And we talk about a prep rally?
Yes. So
Not a
it's-
pep rally, a prep rally?
Prep rally.
Okay.
So if you become one of the Legion of Do-Gooders,
Yeah.
part of that Legion, you'll sign up for the prep rally on November 21st. It's at 8:30 in the morning until 10.
Okay.
And it's just an opportunity for us to raise the energy level and the excitement around getting ready for Giving Tuesday. So everybody that comes will have an opportunity to get this T-shirt, this Do-Gooder T-shirt
Which I
that says "Ask Me About Giving
love.
Tuesday" on the back, and just have an opportunity to really get their minds around what they're going to do for Giving Tuesday. So this is going to be a mix of nonprofit organizations talking about what they're going to be, what they're showcasing, and then people from the public that just really want to be part of that do-gooder movement.
And I want to ask you this question. Between, Omaha Gives is in May.
Yes.
And Giving Tuesday. So what is the difference, or how do they, I mean, because I know the synergy between Omaha Community Foundation and Pottawatomie Community Foundation. I mean, you guys all work very closely together.
We do work very well together, and this is the first question we usually get, Andy, so
Yeah.
I'm glad that you asked. So Omaha Gives is very much about cash, and it's a celebration of donating financial assistance to nonprofits on one day of the year, even though their platform exists 365.
Right.
So Giving Tuesday is an opportunity for the Omaha Community Foundation to still be an avenue for support on that day, and you'll see them on our website on the Giving Tuesday 402 and 712.org pages. But the difference is that Giving Tuesday is about all the good you can do. So it's about events for nonprofits. It's about going out and shoveling your neighbor's walk. It's about tying scarves and hats to trees in Midtown Crossing. It's about the action of good,
Yeah.
not just the donating of good.
Yeah.
And so we want it to be that and so we're really happy to be working with them on this.
Yeah.
And just one little note is that successful communities across the country, like Austin, like Charlotte, they have a Giving Day and then they have Giving Tuesday as well.
Right.
And so they have different characteristics to them and a different feel to them, but usually they work in collaboration really well.
So let me ask you this. Now, Giving Tuesday, is it about giving and doing good on that day, or is it about making a commitment to do good somewhere else later in December? I mean, what?
Yes, and so there will be opportunities for you to do good and donate on that day. And of course, we're going to see the biggest spike of activity on Giving Tuesday. But we know some people sincerely can't volunteer on that day.
Right.
But they want to sign up their families to ring bells
Yeah.
later on in the season. They want to sign up their families to work a meal at a shelter.
Right.
And so we want to encourage that. because we know sometimes people can't actually volunteer on the day of, but we want to spark that interest and see that activity and see so at least those applications for volunteerism to come through on that day.
And are you tracking this information?
We sure are. We've told all the nonprofits that are part of the movement that they're to report to us. We have a very simple way that they're going to tell us all the good that happens for them toward their goals. And then on Friday that week, we're going to be going live with our press release regarding all the good that was actually happened that week for the do-gooders out there. So we couldn't be more excited, and we think that there's just going to be a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of stories of nonprofits being served, but also families and individuals and businesses making a difference.
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
It is what it's about. So how can people find out more?
Go to GivingTuesday402.org.
Okay.
It toggles between 712 and 402 very easily. Find what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Find a goal or a cause or a mission that resonates with you, and click that button. You can do it.
And then Share Omaha, people wanting to learn more about Share Omaha?
Yep, Share Omaha, that site links back to Share Omaha all the time.
Okay,
but ShareOmaha.org is definitely the hub for that conduit that I talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anything else that I missed?
We love partnering with you, Andy.
Yeah.
We love partnering with you, and I feel like the more that Share Omaha is doing this work, the more we're finding people that are like us, that want to celebrate good being done in the community. We couldn't be happier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited. I will check out the site, get some things in the works.
Yes, and become a do-gooder.
And become a do-gooder. So, Marjorie, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we will be right back. Thank you so much for joining me. You can now vote for your favorite charity event in 5 categories. Go to spiritofomaha.com. Also be sure to like us on Facebook, Metro Magazine, all one word. And I look forward to seeing you back here next week.